Hello, everyone. Welcome back to some more Rune Factory. Azura is bound to join us. You know, eventually. In fact, I can just have a cursor going on the screen. It's kind of funny. Well, I got a few fidget toys in the mail today. So that's fine. Whatever. See, I had ideas for stuff to talk about for this video. But I wanted to talk about stuff with Azura, but she's hungry. She's hungry. You see, people get hungry if they don't eat for long enough. And while I had time to go cook up some chicken,
There we go.
people don't actually think that I don't know how to pronounce things. No, I'm mostly just... Uh-oh. Someone's here. It's the cops. Chase it.
Move in with me.
What? Who? What?
See, this is why you need to move in with me, so that when I get stuck in an archipelago, you can go and get food for us.
Well, no. See, if we lived together, what would happen would be that I would wind up filling up the freezer with, like, frozen chicken. And whenever one of us is available while we're hungry, we just go and cook up the chicken in the air fryer.
Mmm, chickens.
Nice. All right.
I don't know exactly what it is, but this box of frozen chicken has almost like a Cajun feel. Taste. It tastes like... I think that's the right term, like Cajun chicken. It's really good.
All right.
Better than it usually is, and it's usually pretty good, which is why I keep getting it.
All right.
In addition to being like the cheapest non-pork, non-liver meat available. Beep boop boop.
Beep boop boop doop. Boop boop boop.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
R.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh isn't a good sound, Azura.
Watering time.
What do you mean, uh-oh, Azura?
Yeah.
What did you do this time?
Yeah.
Actually, I think that my part in the archipelago only actually did last about an hour.
Take that.
So I totally could have been recording it. It would have ended on a bit of a weird
Couldn't hear you.
note.
But I realized I haven't eaten in because I haven't eaten in 8 hours because I got stuck in an archipelago.
Take that. Take that.
Well, you could have gone and, like, had a boost.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's a legitimate question. When?
During the archipelago, just, you know, like, oh, I'm starting to feel hungry. I haven't eaten in 3 hours. Pause the game. Go to fridge. Get boost. Drink it. Continue playing.
I had, 5 minutes free at any time.
It takes you 5 minutes to drink one of those things?
Yes. Yes. Nice.
Well, yeah. You don't chug it.
Well, apparently you don't.
Like some sort of animal.
Or, alternatively, take it back to your gaming chair and drink it while you play.
Not fair. Couch. Gaming couch.
The gaming layer. Layer.
Nice.
What, like an onion?
It's not a gaming onion, Azura.
There, there. There, there. There,
Do,
there.
do,
There, there.
do.
Oh. Gosh, that was, that was...
There, there.
Also, I kind of realized, like, right shortly before I ended that, oh, I did have the 12 Mumbo tokens. Clearly you had spotted me receiving a Mumbo token while I wasn't paying attention, but it didn't seem to show up in the client. And that's
Hey, I told you, I am
what
psychic.
confused me.
People doubt my abilities.
I don't think it was a matter of you being psychic. I think it was a matter of you just noticing something that I didn't, and yeah.
Oh, that's
Nice.
actually fine.
At that point, I am absolutely willing to admit that, yes, I was probably not in the right state of mind to pay full attention to the client, and very clearly missed it. What the? Ooh. There's only one reason one of those would be here.
Oh no.
Looks like that
What?
company is shutting down. You can tell that that company's shutting down because the signage is gone, and there's one of those, like, rentable dumpsters in front of their, spot in this
No,
line of shop.
come on, I trusted you.
Alright. I will be back.
Oh, okay. Do 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 do. Just a rope. Just all the way up to the sky.
Time to tackle another day. Welcome.
Fine. I have 44 corn seed. Where is it? What TV? Yes, good. I can do the conversation stuff on my own. What TV show would be good to live in? What would be
No need to
particularly
stop
bad to live in? Considering that you are not
Sounds
protagonist
like a
or
challenge.
associated with any of the
We're having a festival tomorrow.
specifically the named characters. Just to be, you know, in a world. So if you choose something like Friends or... Yeah, choose something like Friends or Big Bang Theory, you should be on Earth. Let's see, I've been watching a lot of the Owl House lately. With the Owl House, the Boiling Isles. Would that be good to live in? I mean, during the events of the show at large, it starts to become not so great to live in, but in general. Magic World and all that sounds pretty nice. Okay, what about some various animes? Let's see. Okay, Sword Art Online, for example. When I think of anime, that's one that immediately comes to mind.
Take that.
Because, like, strictly speaking, the world is Earth. Unless you want to say that the world is the video game. Which, I mean, that's where Season 1 mostly takes place, so one would think that. Well, it's been a while since I, read about that. It would be interesting within that particular video game. I still remember back when that was still like the hot topic and whatnot, having discussions with people about, oh, just take like an item that's not supposed to be a weapon and use that as a weapon. Like take like a lamp or something to use as like a quarterstaff. And just have like an unbreakable tool at your disposal. And it's like, could you? If you could somehow like take a door off of its hinges, then could you just use that as like a tower shield or just like immortal object? At one point in the anime, a character realizes they are screwed because they are using like the game's inbuilt like combo system that they've been using for like the entire, what was it, 2 years, 3 years that they've been in there. But they're fighting against someone who knows all of the game combos and can defend against them. It's like, yeah, all they have to do is defend against these combos, and then as soon as I'm done, I'm basically dead. Because they know how to defeat the combos. Because of course they would. So it's like, just imagine someone who, like, say, actually knows how to sword fight, goes into Aincrad, and just refuses to use the in-game things. Like, we can see it, at least from the anime, I'm not so sure about the novelization, that it should theoretically be possible for someone to not use the in-game combo system. So somebody already knows how to do sword fighting. Couldn't they just use their own abilities? It's like, oh, what? You think you know my combos? Ah! How preposterous. How insane of you. You think you know me, but you don't. You don't know much of anything now, do you? I'm doing a lot of warping now. Or, of course, reincarnate as a sword. Overall, good story. There is always something weird about a world where you can, like, level up and stuff, because obviously there are going to be people who want to level up as much as possible, just because it's an option. And then, of course, all of the beast folk, well, they can level up, they can, like, evolve. Well, quote-unquote, all of the beast folk. Beast folk in general. Not just a matter of, oh, get to higher levels, but then they can evolve. And there is something interesting about, because, like, in the books, it's not just a matter of, oh, we have to keep leveling up. Oh, we have a problem, we'll level up more. Like, no, like, they reached the level cap. It's like, no, we cannot level up anymore. What are we supposed to do? We can't get more levels. Leveling up is not the solution anymore. We have to do something else. We have to get better gear, or, you know, keep unlocking new skills, but just, you know, killing monsters and leveling up, that's not going to be good enough anymore. And that's a really nice, little bit of, like, plot to go in with, you know, a storyline where you can normally just keep leveling up. It's like, no, we've reached max level. And, like, we're not insta-killing everything. Like, there are still enemies that are a challenge to us. Sure. And, yeah, guys, that's probably why the story is still so compelling. Because some fantasy animes either, like, immediately, like, from episode 1, or at least, or potentially by the end of, like, season 1, like, oh yeah, I don't, it's like, oh, I face against, like, the incarnation of death itself? Oh yeah, I killed it. Oh, the Mechazord? Yeah, no, I killed it. Oh, world obliterating laser? Yeah, no, I took that to the face, to protect the planet, and maybe I lost some health points, but then I recovered it all and had no lasting effects. And it's like, oh, well, what's the point of watching? What's the... If it's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter what I have to face up against. I'm going to live. It's like, okay, good for you. Why should I care about you anymore if I know you're going to live? What is the point of, like, oh, well, it's like, you know, here's some new threat, ooh! And it's like, yeah, no, you're fine. And you solve, it's not just a matter of, oh, I know you're the protagonist, you get live. It's, oh, well, I know you're going to solve this, and it's not even going to be a problem. I'm not even going to get a cool fight out of it. There's no tension. There's no point in even thinking that you could possibly lose. And of course, some other shows and whatnot, there's not really much point in paying attention because, yeah, we know you're going to lose, and it doesn't really matter. Someone pointed out for, like, The Legend of Korra, which also, the world of Avatar, would be interesting to live in, I will say. Of course. Oh, I want to live in there being Bender. It's like, but what if you go there and you're just a non-bender? What if you're just you, who has no bending abilities, and you're just there, and it's like, oh, what then, huh? Would you still be fine? Would you still be fine with your life if you couldn't bend the elements? But anyway, Legend of Korra, they do lose a lot of fights, and then it's like, you know, Naga comes in and scares off the enemies, or the baddies leave them completely intact so they can continue to fight. Like, oh no, they lose! Anyway, like, it doesn't matter. Oh no, you lost! Well, like, you wanted a character losing to mean something? Sure, they can't have it just be, oh, you lost one fight, you're dead, that's the end. To be fair, though, if some show or book or whatever, I think you have to do with the show. Boku might be too obvious. Actually, maybe not. Like, imagine, like, halfway through the story, main characters in a fight, they die. No, they're dead. The story continues with someone else.
Who is dead?
I'm talking about in some shows and whatnot, where the protagonist gets into fights, there's no danger of them losing, because you know, oh, if they lose, they're going to be fine. Like, say, The Legend of Korra.
I can think of one show. Yu Yu Hakusho. There are several points where the main character could believably die.
But, like, imagine a show or whatever. Main character's in a fight, they lose the fight, they die, and there's no, like, oh, we bring them back to life, blah, 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 nonsense. Like, no, they're just dead, and the show continues without the protagonist.
Nice.
Oh, you mean Madoka Magica?
All right.
I don't know, do I mean Madoka Magica?
All right.
I've never seen, read, or watched Madoka Magica. All I know is that on the surface it looks cutesy, but then if you actually watch it, it's like a psychological horror show. So I've never seen it.
Oh. Okay. But then there's also Future Diary, which very similar sort of, well, not very similar, but still very much, yeah, main character, there's gonna be death.
Alright, so, because I was initially talking about, right, a lot of the shows we've been watching, a lot of the animes we've been watching that have fights as a common occurrence, the main character, either right from episode 1 or by the end of season 1, becomes strong enough that no matter what gets faced against them, they just win without a problem.
What? I can actually think of a particular show that, admittedly, it's arguable whether this person could be considered the main character up to this point. But, yeah, there's a show where, at the very least, arguably the strongest character is the one who doesn't survive. And the show continues going. And that's Gurren Lagann.
Never heard of it.
Oh, in that case, we have to watch that.
Nope.
Oh, what?
So, yeah, I was saying that's why I kind of like Reincarnated as a Sword a lot. Because even by the end of season 1, like, sure, you know the main character is going to win because she's the main character and isn't, you know, there's more, like, there's more books, there's more seasons coming out. You know she's not going to just die. But it does come very close, very often.
All right.
Yeah. Although, honestly,
I think in one fight she does die.
No more so than any of the other shows I've mentioned, I'll just say that.
But like that one show that we watched with the character who might or might not have even been the main character, with the special ability of, if I want something to die, it's dead. And it doesn't even have to be a person, it could be a concept. Oh yeah, I want to kill the gravity in this room. Okay, now there's no gravity in here. Oh no, someone has cancer? I want to kill the cancer cells. Okay, you're fine, you don't have cancer anymore. Oh no, they sent 500 dragons against us in, like, episode 4? Yeah, I'll just kill every single one of them. Oh no, someone we have to leave alive? Okay, I'll just, kill your sense of hearing, so you go deaf. Well, that one show that we tried to watch, that... From episode 1, we get the character's backstory, but they were brought into this fantasy world, and then they found, like, slimes, whatever, and they had learned how to, like, command the slimes to do as they wanted, and then they had an army that could rival, like, the demon lords, and all that, and, you know, tens of thousands of slimes at their disposal to fight for what was right. This is episode 1, by the way.
Wait, which show was this?
It's a show that we only watched the first episode of, and then both decided, yeah, no, this seems lame.
I think maybe the there's just way too many shows involving isekai shows involving slimes that I actually can't figure out which one you're talking about because you're saying details that match different series, but I can't think of one that matches everything that you've said.
Again, we only watched like the first episode and possibly not even, I think maybe the whole first episode. There's a kingdom and it's being attacked by like a demon army. And everyone's like, oh no, how will we ever defend ourselves? And the protagonist shows up and just starts slaughtering demons left and right with the power of their slimes. And they are like, oh yes. You see, I came to this world 3 years ago. And all I could do is command slimes to do my bidding. That's my power. It's the weakest of all the powers that anyone could have in this world. Complete and utter control over slimes. But now, 3 years later, I have enough slimes built up that I can rival even the Demon Lord himself. See, look at that. With just the power of my slimes, my weakest power, the weakest power in all existence, I was able to destroy all of the slimes that threatened this kingdom. Not destroy the slimes. I was able to destroy all the demons that threatened this kingdom. And that was like the first 5 minutes, basically. And it's like, yeah, that sounds like something that could be at least an entire season, and then destroying all the demons would be like the finale.
Well, again, the thing is, if you're talking about the series I think you're thinking of, he hadn't been in that world for 3 years. He'd been in that world for a matter of days leading up to that event, and I know we watched 2 or 3 episodes before we completely gave up on it. Because the 3 years one was a completely different series where...
Yeah, that was the one where the person was a child.
Yes, that was the one that was the 3 years one.
And even then, it's like, oh yes, I found I could talk to slimes, and nobody else has ever thought to try to talk to slimes. And turns out that if you're just nice to the slimes, you can have them do everything you want. But since nobody else in this entire world has ever once even considered taking a slime as a pet, I have unlocked all of the secrets of slimes, and I'm going to make a laundry business. Because I have slimes that can clean stuff better than any material.
Okay, well, it wasn't that no one could. It's that no one bothered to.
That's what I said. Since nobody in this world has ever even thought.
No, there's people who have who have tamed slimes. No one has bothered, say, collecting enough to do the sort of things that he did. No one has focused on slimes.
Thank you, very thank you.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah. Nobody's thought to, breed slimes together. It's like, it feels like with a lot of these, it's jumping onto bandwagons. And I don't know which one was the first anime to portray slimes in a positive light. It might have been Reincarnated as a Slime. But then...
Yes, that is definitely the first slime-focused isekai.
But then there are a bunch of ones that's like, oh, hey, here's an idea. What if we paint slimes in a positive light? Oh, what if we paint slimes in a positive light? Okay, what if the main character uses slimes for good, and we paint them in a positive light? Okay, when you start up an RPG and the first enemy you face is slimes? Well, what if the slimes could be beneficial?
And then there's the one
and
where it's like...
doing the same with goblins.
Then there was the one who, okay, never mind.
The one who killed 10 slimes a day every day for 100 years.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that one.
Which Didn't it have like a character who was like a humanoid version of a slime who came for revenge for fighting all the slimes?
Yep, 2 of them.
Well, one of them came for revenge, and the other one came because her sister had already come by.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh no, you've been killing a whole bunch of slimes. That's a bad thing. I have to show you no mercy because you've been killing slimes. And it's like, you could just talk to the person. You could just, what is it? It's like, oh, well, the slimes that you've been killing are not like, are slimes that don't have brains, so it's fine that you've been killing them.
Uh-huh.
So now that you're back,
Uh-huh.
If you could choose one TV show world to live in, which one would you most want to be in? Assuming that you have no connection to the... Sorry, pardon?
Sorry, what?
Assuming you have no connection to, like, the main cast. It's like just the world, not necessarily the plot.
And how long do I have to be in this world?
You're living there, rest of your life.
Okay, so a fictional world to move to permanently.
Yes. You get isekai'd into the world of... The question says a TV show, but, whatever. And you just live there. Rest of your life. Which one would you want to be in?
Well, the cop-out answer would be, the TV show I knew pick is the local news. Because the world of that one is this one. But let me think of an actual answer while I'm eating.
Here, I pick Owl House. So, Earth?
Time to eat. Watering time.
Come on. While you're thinking about that, I'm just going to mumble into a microphone for a while. It's so annoying in shows that have, like, a conspiracy theorist character. And it turns out that the conspiracy theorist was actually totally correct all along. But then the people who know that the conspiracy theorist is correct still make fun of them for being a conspiracy theorist. Like,
Okay,
I will
I will just say to that, the whole nature of conspiracy theories and like the people who really go into them so far as to be the sort of character you're talking about. The problem is they tend to kind of go whole hog in a lot of conspiracy theories at once.
Delicious.
Some of them happen to turn out to be correct in the course of the show. Others remain absurd in the context of the show.
Yeah, I mean, like, like in Owl House is that the museum guy who was an absolute jerk, like, kidnapping people and all that.
Big and strong.
But it's like, oh, there's aliens and, there's people from another dimension, there's shapeshifters, blah, blah, blah. And then the shapeshifter says, haha, shapeshifters, can you believe that? You're stupid. More or less. And it's like, no, you are a shapeshifter from another world. Like, his reasoning is bad and he's, not a good person. But he's not stupid, he's correct about that. The end of the world is upon us! Imagine the world just ending in 3 days. That couldn't possibly happen. Shifty eyes, shifty eyes.
Delicious.
And, but still the more I think about it, I mean, it still feels like the obvious answer to your question before, what world to move to. Because I'm sure we've had similar discussions before, but the answer still remains Pokemon.
You just want to move to Japan?
No, Pokemon, not Japan.
Yes.
Because it's a world with Pokemon, and even the average person, your average kindergartner and preschooler, has a
Has
Pokemon.
I do kind of feel
Although-
like if Pokemon were real, it would be more like the Detective Pikachu movie. People might have one, maybe two Pokemon, usually small Pokemon, and not battle them so much.
I hope it comes out okay.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there are people who have Pokemon, you know, as part of their family, household, pets, whatever. They aren't classified as Pokemon trainers.
I hope it comes out
And we
okay.
even know that it has to be the case within the course of the game, because as so many trainers will tell you, when two Pokemon trainers make eye contact, they have to fight. Okay, and how many,
Well, the people who say that are kids.
Time to eat.
but how many people do you,
You're big and strong,
like-
okay?
run into over the course of the game, particularly, say, in shops or Pokemon centers?
You're big and strong, okay?
You know, you don't fight them.
Damn it.
They obviously have Pokemon, because everybody has Pokemon, but not everyone is a trainer. So,
Everyone has Pokemon for self-defense.
mhm.
It reminds me of that one comic I saw with, like, the bug catch or whatever. Someone passes by, bug catcher challenges him to battle, and they goes like, no, I'm just a businessman, I don't have Pokemon. Another person
And
walks by and says,
unfortunately-
let's battle, I see you have a
I hope it
Skitty.
comes out okay.
You have a Pokemon, let's battle. It's like, what? No, Skitty's my pet, I don't want to battle. I'm not gonna, have my Pokemon fight.
Actually, you know what? Here's the interesting thing that it seems to be consistent from what I've seen. The people who are classified as Pokemon trainers have one thing that makes them more identifiable.
You're big and strong,
Pokeballs.
okay?
Yes.
Every single other person, I think, between the show and even like the games, including spin-offs and whatnot,
More or less.
Okay?
who have
They keep their
Pokemon.
Pokemon out. Because they're
Yeah.
pets.
Comes out okay?
Exactly.
Like, it
Which
would be
means that
useful if I
technically-
could put Cinnamon in a little capsule and keep him there for a while.
Which technically means that until Ash Ketchum caught Caterpie, he wasn't a Pokemon
Time
trainer.
to eat.
No, he had the Pokedex. That's like his Pokemon trainer
No.
license.
Okay, fair enough. Also true.
It's like, hey, you have this. This registers you as... Even though the person who does PokeSins refuses to believe that the Pokedex counts as a license. Because, they don't really say that, even though he uses it as his license. Well, they didn't say it was a license, they just said it was... It's like, it basically is. Oak gives it to him, it's like, okay, here, to be a Pokemon trainer, you have to have a Pokedex. To be, like, your license ID, whatever. To be a Pokemon trainer. I wonder if there's a thing, like, if you're not officially a trainer, you can only have one Pokemon. Unless you're a trainer, or you're doing something specific, like working with Pokemon, you can only have one.
I hope it comes out okay. Watering time.
Because otherwise, like, if you weren't allowed to have Pokemon
Time to eat.
for just being a civilian, then trying to travel between towns would be really dangerous.
Mhm.
Time to eat. All right. You're big and strong, okay? You're big and strong, okay? You're big and strong, okay?
Alright.
I will say one thing that I definitely like about how, well, at the very least, this seems to be the case in
You're big and strong,
Gen
okay?
9. I don't know if it's the case in Gen 8, but it seems that
Watering time.
one thing that has bugged me for a while is that, it seems that the trainers, certain trainers have significant advantages if they happen to grow up or live in the same town as the regional professor of Pokemon.
Because the professor will give them Pokemon.
Exactly.
I mean, I
Whereas
feel
just
like everyone is given a Pokemon to start with. And, like, maybe that could be explored in some Pokemon game or some Pokemon spin-off game that's like, okay, here's, like, the map of the world, choose where you begin, and based off of where you begin, there's, like, you know, different people who will give you your first Pokemon. Because obviously not everyone starts with, like, you know, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, or whatever the 3 starter Pokemon that the player gets.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that, and again, it's more just because it's the nature of how the game is set up for the player character to kind of have an advantage in this part. They just happen to, you know, live in the same, you know, like, direct region as the local, like, Pokemon professor celebrity. The person who is supposed to be, like, the most of an expert of Pokemon.
Well, it's not that, oh, we happen to be following someone who, you know, lives by the professor. It's the story follows someone who is by the professor.
Yes, but again, following the plot of the games, that person who happens, you know, who starts off, you know, as one of the few people living in, you know, the town that the local professor is in, becomes the champion.
I mean, actually, if you really think about it, most often they don't. How many times has someone started up a Pokemon game, you know, become a trainer, start getting Pokemon, and then just stopped before becoming champion? Sure, it's entirely possible for the player to wind up being the champion if they follow through with the game, but how often do people, like, play the game and just not go that far? I'd say more than half.
See, and this is where I need to say one particular part here. Canonically,
Yes, in canon.
the player character finishes the game.
The player character. That's true. In canon, you become... Yeah.
And let's think of, like, the other characters who, you know, who can become champion or reach that point of the game.
The rival.
Yeah, the rival. So in the first game, yeah, well, technically should have even bigger advantage because, you know, literally related to the professor.
Yep.
Second game, well, he doesn't live there, but he straight up stole the Pokemon from the professor, so... But you last encounter him, like, just before the Elite Four, and he doesn't become champion. In fact, actually, here's a question. In any of the other Pokemon games other than Gen 1, like, does your rival, or one of your rivals, actually become champion before you?
See, here's the thing. I know Gen 1 better than any other generation, because growing up, that's the only one I had access to. I didn't actually beat the Elite Four in Gen 6. Gen 8, I believe, it's your rival's older brother that's the champion. And your rival doesn't actually become champion, but he is a contender for it.
Your rival's brother is, like, champion at the start of the game, right?
At the start of the game. The guy with the Charizard.
But he obviously came from the same, like, geographical region as the player character, right?
Yes.
So, once again, hometown advantage.
But also, he had a Charizard. He's the only person in at least the base game to have a Charizard.
Watering time.
And he's the one who actually gives you and your rival your starter Pokemon, and he takes the third one.
Real big and strong, okay?
He's already champion before taking it.
Watering time. I hope it
He
I will
finds
just
these
say-
3 Pokemon.
That is a very good way of handling it,
real big and strong, okay? Real big
because
and
that is
strong,
something that I've
okay?
never particularly liked.
Yeah, the
You know, when
third
it's just like-
Pokemon just sits there
Big and
uselessly.
strong, okay?
Yeah.
technically in Gen 1, there is a fight that, or 3 fights that are programmed in, but unavailable in normal gameplay, where you fight against Oak. I think, stronger fight than the champion battle, and his 3 teams are based off of whichever starter was left in the lab.
Yep.
I hope it comes out okay.
But, let's see here. Let's see, Gen 3, again, your rival... Well, Gen 3, you have literally just moved to the region, and your rival is, you know, the daughter of, like, the local professor. But, you are also, the kid of a gym leader of the region, so... Again, feels kind of like nepotism is a factor here.
Well, except that the person who is the gym leader doesn't give you your Pokemon.
No.
Wait, isn't Gen 3 the one where you, like, save the professor?
Yep.
Yeah. The story just so happens to begin on the day that the local professor is in a life-threatening situation, theoretically, and requires you to help, and just so happens to have 3 loose Pokemon for you to choose from.
Grow big and strong, okay? Watering time.
In Gen 9, someone is already established as the champion, and your rival wants to be champion, but I don't think she ever actually becomes the champion.
No.
Watering time. Time to eat.
And Gen 10 doesn't exist.
Watering time. Damn it.
I know in Gen 7,
Time to eat.
Gen 7, literally the Elite Four and is established literally shortly before you get there. And I think you are officially the first champion of the region. However, if you go and fight the Elite Four again, a random person from a certain pool of trainers, including your hometown rival, will basically be the champion fight.
Hey Dave, get in here! The champion wants to fight someone!
But, well, with the implication being that they have also already fought their way through the Elite Four, and this is a title match, basically.
Time to eat.
Let's see here. Gen 4, who is your rival in Gen 4?
I don't remember Gen 4.
Honestly, I know in that one, again, your rival doesn't really,
do much.
Yeah, doesn't get particularly far. Maybe there's a fight before you fight the Elite Four, but, as you're leaving Victory Road, maybe. That seems to be kind of a common thing, but, the only real champion is Cynthia, which, let's be honest here, that's enough.
I hope it comes out okay.
Honestly, I have been fed up with the concept of having a Pokemon rival since Gen 1. It was cool the first time that I played, and then after that, it was lame. Yes, rival, smell you later, you want blah 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 blah. Me as a 6-year-old, yeah, shut up. Yeah, smell you later. It's why do you have to be so rude?
Yeah, the concept. Well, admittedly, you got to remember that, of course, over the course of the games, they have made the rival less abrasive, and the whole intention of the rival is to kind of be supposed to be a peer to kind of spur you on to keep improving.
Better. Yeah, and then it got really bad in Gen 8. Everybody hated that rival because he was so It's like, oh my gosh, you learn about, like, type effectiveness bonuses.
Hope it comes out
Oh,
okay.
once I learn about type effectiveness bonuses, you know that your water type is super effective against my fire type Pokemon. Well, clearly you know that as well, but then why did you take the fire type Pokemon after I chose water type?
Yeah, the rival in...
Okay? Skill up.
Wait. Did you say Gen 8 or Gen 7?
Gen 8.
Ah,
Sword and Shield?
Grow big and strong.
okay.
He's like
For some
really
reason, I was thinking
excited to
about a
tell
move
you. It's
as
like,
the
oh
ri-
my gosh, you landed a critical
Grow
hit.
big and strong. Okay?
That only has like a 1 in 8 chance of
Hope it
happening.
comes out okay.
Good job. It's like, what do you mean good job? It was luck. I
Watering
happened to, like, what?
You know, I kind of like how it was with, like, Black and White, and I guess to some extent, like, X and Y, where you technically have multiple rivals. Admittedly, in Black and White, it's very obvious from the start. Only one of them is ever going to be a serious threat. But even then, they kind of aren't.
Yeah, in X and Y, it's like, no, these are just friends. You're
Yeah,
not
these are just
rivals
friends.
competing against each other.
Watering time.
You're just friends all going into the world of Pokemon together.
Yeah. One of them is technically officially the rival, but it's like, it doesn't feel like...
It's not like, oh, we're fighting against each other. Smell you later. Oh, I'm gonna go and get all the good Pokemon so you can't have any.
Hope it comes out okay.
I know this is Gen 9 with, like, pneumonia. And... Nope.
Nimona.
Nomi? Who?
Nimona, I
Pneumonia.
think.
I was close. Maybe.
You know, I think she is,
Big and strong.
like,
Okay?
for
She's
what
good.
the rival role is,
She's good as a rival.
she is good because she is enthusiastic with, and, like, she wants you to improve, just as she wants to improve because she just wants more and more intense
Yes.
Watering
battles.
time.
But she's
Hope
not...
it comes out okay.
So, like, she actually is, like, excited to, like, see you and stuff. Like, some previous rivals, like, ugh, you're here.
Comes out okay.
You're the stain upon my boots, you know. How dare you be following me? It's like, oh, gee, thanks. This really makes me want to continue playing your game, Game Freak. But then she's not, like, treating you like a baby, like the Gen 8 rival. Oh my gosh, you did a super effective hit! Oh my gosh, you're so brilliant and cool and awesome! Oh my gosh! It's like,
I hope it
you
comes out
used
okay.
a same type... You took advantage of the same type attack bonus.
I hope it
But
comes
yes,
out
I did
okay.
that in our last fight too,
Delicious.
which you commented on back then as well.
Watering time.
Yeah,
It's like-
that sounds very obnoxious.
I hope it comes out okay.
I mean, I
Oh my
will say,
gosh, you got a super effective hit. If I knew about type effectiveness, I could be a good trainer just like you. Really? It sure sounds like you know about type effectiveness. You call it out every single time I do it. Makes me want to play bad just so I don't have to hear him going, oh my gosh, good job.
yeah. I will say with Gen 2, Gen 2's rival, which is an interesting one because right off the bat, the
Actually,
rival is
Thief.
just,
Comes out okay.
huh? Yeah, actually a thief. And has,
Grow big and strong.
I mean, admittedly, this technically wasn't ever officially confirmed until the Gen 4 remake about the fact that, yeah, your rival is Giovanni's son. And it's just like, with that knowledge, it actually, puts him in better context, and you know what?
Time to eat.
Like, he's, with that context, you can kind of, he makes more sense as a rival, but it's just like, it feels weird otherwise why he is...
He's just some guy.
He's just some guy who stole a Pokemon, and instead of the police taking care of him...
Yeah, the police come in and ask, oh, what's his name?
Comes out okay.
Which a whole bunch of people answered question mark, question mark, question mark. Because that's the name shown up to
Yeah.
that point.
I hope
Yeah,
comes
it
out
wasn't
okay.
clear that that was supposed to be where you name your rival, so that part was definitely handled poorly. Yeah, but I mean, Gen 2 as a whole,
Strong, okay?
including like the rival, and even with that information, knowing that he's Giovanni's son,
I hope it comes out
it's
okay.
weird to say it like this, but it feels like it mostly relied on nostalgia from Gen 1. Which is
Hey, you
weird to
remember
say
Gen 1?
for the
I mean-
immediate sequel.
To be fair, Gen 2 also had you going back to Kanto.
Yes,
After
exactly.
you beat the game, you go back to Kanto.
Exactly. Well, technically, even before, because you have to... One of the plot events, you have to take the train
I thought it
and
was
go to
after you
the...
beat the Elite Four.
I hope it comes out okay.
I could have sworn
You
there was
beat the
still a
Elite
part...
Four, go to Kanto, beat all ancient leaders there. They're relatively easy fights.
I hope
And
it comes out okay.
I think you can beat, like, the Kanto Elite Four or something,
Time to eat.
and then you go and fight Red.
No, there was no Kanto
That was-
Elite
Strong,
Four.
okay?
Yeah.
But,
I know you could fight the Elite Four a second time, and they have, like, a better team or something.
possibly.
But yeah, then just, like, imagine... Gosh, I wish I'd gotten Gen 2 as a kid, because... Imagine the sheer excitement of, you know, going back through Gen 1 in Gen 2, not knowing about it ahead of time, and then, oh, hey, the boss is your character from the previous game.
Delicious.
Yeah. That was...
And, oh god,
That
could you
actually-
imagine if, I don't know how they could possibly do it,
Delicious.
but if they somehow took, like, your Hall of Fame data and used your team against you for Gen 2. Like, if you
Honestly-
had save data from Gen 1,
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
I hope it comes out okay.
somehow save that to the Game Boy itself, and uses your team against you. Oh, you used a bunch of rare candies and used a level 100 Articuno to sweep the Elite Four and champion? Cool. Fight a level 100 Articuno.
Delicious. Watering time.
And, like,
Watering
I can only imagine that some speedrunners would try to take advantage of that. Have save data where they somehow manage to beat the Elite Four with, like, a team of, like, you know, level 20 whatevers. But then they could also just do it like, nope, you have to use, like, the basics. You know. Oh, for speedrunning you have to use the basic provided, blah blah blah. You can't just use... You can't cheat it like that for speedrunning. But yeah, something like that would have been
Nice.
so awesome. Because if I had played through Gen 2 as a kid, I probably wouldn't have realized, oh hey, that's supposed to be my character from the previous game. Because I played Pokemon Blue version. I didn't name my character Blue or Red or, you know, a color.
Yeah.
Oh no, I died.
Yeah, you really should have been paying attention to that skull above your head.
Nah, it didn't really matter so much. So,
Oh, Jesus.
follow-up question to the previous, and we only have about a minute to answer this. Out of any fictional world, which one would you least want to live in?
Yeah, that might be a much harder one because it's easy to pick out ones that we like, but there's definitely so many that are just like, no, this is just...
Gintama, Attack on Titan,
Yeah, exactly.
Dragon Ball, living on one of the planets that just gets completely destroyed. Star Wars, living on... I thought I knew the name of that planet, but I didn't.
Wow, yeah, there's lots of planets, so I
The one that
What,
gets blown up by the Death Star that Leia's from.
Oh, Alderaan.
That's the one.
Of course, it's not the only planet that gets blown up in that series, so... I mean, here... That's the thing. With the way that... With that world, general world works, if you aren't, you know... directly, well, first of all, if you aren't force sensitive,
You're just some regular person.
you're just some regular person. But, and if you're not if you're not force sensitive, if you're not literally like a high level, agent or whatever for a government, and you're not part of like a organized crime, yeah, things are not good for you.
Yeah, I think I mentioned early in the episode, some people be all, oh, let's go to the world of like Avatar Last Airbender. I'd love to be a X whatever bender, earthbender, airbender, waterbender, firebender. But it's like, what if you go to that world and you're just a non-bender? Because it's just you going there. It's not you as if you had been born there with any superpowers you'd want. It's just you, so you just be a non-bender. And it seems in that world, non-benders get the short end of the stick. Non-benders are like third-class citizens. They actually bring that to light in Korra, and then don't really do much of anything about it. Oh, hey, a non-bender is now like the prime minister or whatever. The president of Republic City is a non-bender. Okay, but there's still jobs that only benders can get. There's a entire sport that's only for benders. Like, anything a non-bender could do, a bender could do it, and probably even better. Like, at least with, like, My Little Pony, the Earth Ponies could do stuff that the others couldn't. Oh gosh, someone had made a post about how, like, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is... I don't know what word they use, like, fascist or something, because, oh, Earth Ponies are third-class citizens, blah blah blah. They can't do anything, and there is no Earth Ponies in the royalty, and the royalty is only princesses, there's no queen. I mean, if you really want to look at the royalty, there's no unicorns or Pegasi there either. They're all alicorns. Anyway, regardless,